Well, here I am, guys. It's Monday. I can't do Monday night this week. Um, I was gonna lie and say I can't. Well, I can't. I got an issue with the sick kid at home this morning again, so I got to stay home all day. Only time I got to run is tonight, so I'll do that. So this is recorded. It's on Facebook Live, so that's recorded too, but it's also live. I'm on Zoom, and I'm gonna try to see if I can do a podcast rather than do this. Well, maybe I can do this on live and this uh live and then do a podcast. I have no idea how that works, but that's my job for this week is try to figure out how to do a podcast. Anyhow, so we're 14 weeks away from Vancouver. For those of you doing a Vancouver half full or at the 8K. As I said a few weeks ago, I'm doing the week before I'm going to do this Vancouver Sun Run, and I've never done it. I'm sort of I figured it's on the bucket list. I might as well do it, so I'll do that. And this popped in my head, but probably won't happen. But why not do the Sun Run and the next Sunday and just stay in Vancouver for the whole week, like from Sunday to Sunday, and do the Vancouver maybe 8K or half, whatever, in the following week. My wife would strangle me, so probably not. There's actually a race here in Vancouver, St. Albert called the Run Wild that weekend. So I'll do the Sun Run in Vancouver, and then I'll do here. So 10K and 10K. That makes 21 or 20. So close to half marathon. Anyhow, so 14 weeks. What are you guys thinking? So you're 4 weeks into the training, which is going by, you think, oh God, I still have 14 weeks, lots of time. No, you don't. What's going to happen is if you're thinking like that now, eventually you're going to say, oh my God, 10 weeks, I got lots of time. Then you'll say, oh my God, 3 weeks. So pay attention to that training plan. That's why it's called a training plan. Stick to it. That's why I'm running tonight. Couldn't run yesterday because yesterday I mapped out a route for a half marathon in Edmonton that's taking place next Sunday. It's going to be minus 30 here. Vancouver will not be minus 30, but I have to map it out. It's going to be cold. It's not bad if you're running in that. And I'm going to say minus 25, not minus 30. And probably minus 25 with the wind chill. So that's still not that bad. Perception. I don't know where most of you are, but it's perception, right? I was just watching the BCTV news and oh my God, it's like zero or something there. People are, oh, freaking out. But it's perception. Once you get outside, and this is a story. I did this a couple weeks ago. I went for a run and I had to go for a run. I had to go outside. I don't run on treadmill. I'm just going to say that most of you guys know. I think I ran a treadmill 3 times in my lifetime, and two was for physio, one was just because I thought I had to. And yeah, it's a different perception. It's different feeling for me. And I'm not going to say it's wrong to run a treadmill, but cost, how much is a treadmill? How much is a pair of running shoes? Anyhow, the perception was I was thinking, oh my God, it's cold out. Then I started thinking, my guide is I don't feel I still will run, but my comfort zone is between plus 25 and minus 25. That's my comfort zone. As long as I stay with there, I can run. And I've run in minus 30 before. It's just maybe because I'm older, wiser. No, that's not going to happen. But I just have to dress for it. And once you get outside and start moving, bang, you realize it's actually not that bad. Usually just make sure your face is covered. Use the if you have to use hand warmers, use those. Actually, I just saw these. Booty warmers or body warmers. These stick on and keep you warm. So I'm going to be using these next Sunday when I work the race next Sunday. I just keep my body warm. But you just layer and you're fine. It's perception is fine no matter what. Yes, hurricanes don't run in hurricanes, earthquakes, forest fires, whatever. But otherwise, today it's sunny. It's actually warm today. It's going to be above zero, which is really weird. Actually, it's going to be something like plus 5, which is like shorts. And yeah, dress for 10 degrees warmer than it is. So it's minus 25. You're dressing for minus 15, right? So yeah, it's not so bad. But stick to that training plan. You're still sort of working on that base. Yes, some views are more, some views, some views. I sound like I should be on, what's that movie with, uh, whatever, the movie with that, whatever, that sound. Um, but you're still working on that base. But for some of you have had trained for marathons before and half marathons and have been training all along. Building the base, you're still working on that if you're sticking to training plan, but you can go hog wild if you want. If you got that background, start doing hills, start doing speed now. If this is your first time out, this first rodeo, then yeah, stick to that plan. Stick to I'm going to say the running plan. But if you want to, if you've got that experience, go for it. Go gadget. As long as you have the foundation, you're fine. The trick is when you don't have the foundation, when you start doing hill repeats and speed training, is that's if you don't have that base, you're going to get injured. And so that's why we say build up that foundation all the time. Most of your training, should be uh, building that foundation, working on the basic endurance, right? And then when you start training for a race, start focusing. That's why we think periodization. I'm having a hard saying stuff this morning. Periodization is important. So pick your races, pick when you're training, when you're not, when you're actually aiming for a race, when you're in between training for races, and don't stop running. Don't make it a bucket list where you do that marathon and then I stop. So yeah, make sure you build that base. And for most of you, I'm not sure what I think both the halves and the fulls training plans, if you're using a running training plan, if you're making up your own, you're still doing some tempo runs, right? On usually Tuesdays, Wednesdays. I'm not a big fan when I was coaching in person. I would say do tempo on Wednesdays, Tuesdays, just do a regular steady run. Tempo back to back, I don't think is a really good idea. You don't want to set yourself up for injury, right? And tempo is going a little bit harder. And once you start going harder and going faster, you have to recover from that, which is important. You can still do an active recovery. You can still do a running recovery, a walking recovery, by riding your bike recovery, swimming recovery, but you still have to recover. So I don't really like that running thing where they do tempo, then steady, or they do, because you just did your long run Sunday. So rest Monday, tempo Tuesday, tempo Wednesday. They say it's so you learn how it feels to be tired when you're in a race. Yeah, I don't think you need that. Don't injure yourself. So I would say tempo on Wednesdays for now. Same thing for the marathoners. You're still on tempos. Your tempos are a bit further. So I'm going to say do a steady six on Tuesday. Do a tempo on Wednesday. And understand what a tempo is. Tempo is an actually workout. It's like training with weights. You warm up first, then you hit the heavy weights, right? You maybe do some, if you're doing weights, you do a little bit of cardio to warm yourself up. If you're doing bench, you just do with bar a couple of times, say 10 reps, and then you start loading up the race. And most people will pyramid up weight, right? So I'm going to say for tempo, I like the idea of say 1K warm up. If you want to do 1 minute, that's fine. I think 1K is even better. So if you're doing 10K, do 1K warm up, just easy, get your heart rate going, not going all out. You're not racing somebody. And then for the next, okay, how's the math in here? So do 1K, do 8K. Aha, there you go. Do 8K and pick that up. And you want a tempo run is not, oh my God, I'm being chased by a bear. It's just a little bit stronger, a little bit faster, picking up the pace. And as your training goes along from week to week, that training should be better. But I would say keep your heart rate around, say, 70 to, yeah, 60 to 70% max if you're using your heart rate, or just 10 to 1, like the Borg or the uh, perceived straight rate of perceived rate of exertion, you want to be closer to say about a 77. So that, yeah, you're not going all out. You can still breathe. You're not, and you can still sort of chat with your friends if you're training with friends, or you can still sing a little bit. Maybe not Bohemian Rhapsody, but maybe Oh Canada, whatever. But you should just be able to do that, but it's a little harder. You know, there's an effort. You're breathing hard. You can hear your breath. And then do 1K cool down. So you're doing 1K, 8K, maybe do four out, four back, and then 1K back to the finish line. So cool down. Cool down is important. I'm going to say that's important too. A lot of us just run as fast as we can and then stop. Cool down a bit. Just walk a bit. Do not sit down. Do not do that. Those of you that know what I'm talking about is a lot of times if you do that, you sit down, then you try to get back up again. Oh my God, or else you just faint. So let your heart rate cool down. It should take a few minutes. We did a sing and spin class where we'll do a tempo race or see how fast we can go. Time. I can't think of anything this morning, but yeah, we'd race as hard as we can, and then stop and see how long it takes for our heart rate to come down. The more fit, the quicker it will come down. But you stop and wait and watch it come down. So after a race, after a training run, do that. Just walk around a bit, let your heart rate calm down, let your head calm down, and talk to your friends, go for coffee, and just work that out. Because a lot of times too, I'm going to say after the day after a hard workout, you'll feel that lactic acid build up in your legs, and you're sore. Just walk around a bit. I think that'll help. And if you do have it the next day, go for a walk, go for an easy run. Take care of it that way. Don't start talking magnesium or vitamin C or massage. Massage might help, but just it's what it is lactic acid, if you don't know, probably know already, but it's just a natural, almost like a natural gel. It's your body sending what it needs into your body to help you move. And sometimes it's just a slow trickle, like when I'm talking now, lactic acid is building up, but it's being recycled really quickly too, right? When you're walking slowly, it's just recycling. But once you start going harder into an anaerobic state, what happens is it doesn't recycle. It starts building up and building up. So if it's still stuck in there when you finish your run, guess what? You're going to feel sore the next morning when you wake up. So either do something afterwards to burn off that excess lactic acid, or just walk around really funny and let your wife make fun of you. Um, but yeah, don't. It's not. It's like magic. So yeah, so do that. Make sure you cool down. And tempo, if you want to do fartlek again, we've talked fartleks before on this thing. Fartlek is just it's intervals, which is what it is really. Fartlek is you warm up and then start picking spots to run to. So if you run along, say St. Albert, our trails here in St. Albert, there's light posts and there's benches, so you can start your walk or easy run, pick out a bench. It doesn't matter how far it is. Really, I don't think it matters. But go as hard as you can to that or harder to that spot, then pick another spot to just calmly jog to, and then find another spot to speed up to. And actually, the light posts are actually sort of spread out enough here in St. Albert that you can do that well. Some places have light posts, some places have fences, some places have signs, uh, city blocks, whatever. But anyhow, yeah, that's the whole idea behind fartleks. And I actually prefer them to tempo. If you're with friends, it's a lot more fun. Tempo is the thing to remember about tempo runs and your long, slow distance runs. It's based on you. I've seen too many cases where people have tried to run too fast for the long, slow distance. If you've ever heard coaches talk about coaching, what they always say is that a lot of runners will do their long, or their Sunday runs, their longer runs too fast, and their fast days too slow. So you want to flip that around. So, and the way to make your faster runs better, pay attention to your slower runs, your long, slow distance. Of course, most of you guys know I like the idea of long, effortless distance. You want it to feel like you could run forever. You never want to start looking at your watch. Is that 10 minutes yet? Is that 10 minutes? If you start doing that, you're going too fast. To back off, long, slow distance. I always say Sunday. It doesn't have to be Sundays because if you've been visited me, long, slow distance doesn't have to be Sundays. It's not a thing you have to do. My long, slow distance runs now are going to be Mondays because my Sundays are involved with races and setting up events, so I can't do anything on Sundays. So Sunday's rest day. Long, slow distance is Monday on my own. But the problem I see a lot is we had one instructor, she would run in front of everybody and say nobody could run faster than her. Well, that's not the way it's supposed to work because there's going to be people that are faster than her running easy, right? Because different people have different bases and can go faster. Their fast, slower runs are quicker. Is that their effortless runs are quicker. A friend of mine, she does like Vancouver half, and she'll actually walk it, and her speed walking is faster than my running. So it's based on you. So having somebody run in front of you telling you how slow to run, that's wrong. You should be based on you. Either use your watch, use your perceived rate of exertion, listen to your breath, take it from there. That'll get you where you want to go. So do that. Make sure you function and watch that, and that'll make your other runs, especially your hill repeats and your speed training, better because you'll be stronger. And as your long slow distance runs become better and more consistent, you'll find those runs being faster and quicker and easier to run, but you'll also find your speed training a little bit quicker too because you're stronger. And what the difference in speed is, if you watch things like the Boston Marathon and New York Marathon and watch the faster runners, the elites, they're pretty much running the same stride. All of them. I'm going to say that I talked about this. I noticed some of the female elites run a bit differently, and that's fine. But most of them still do the perfect form. So what makes one faster than the other? They've all trained just as hard as each other. They've all consistently have done their whatever training for them, and you think they'd all be pretty similar, and they all finish really close together, and a lot of them do. Well, what's the difference between the person that wins, person that finishes second, third, fourth, and 10th? Well, the difference is when they take that stride, they're traveling a little bit farther with each stride, and their leg turnover is a lot quicker. So watch that if you can. I think New York's still live streaming on TV. Boston may be still on there too from last year. And just watch when they run side by side, and you'll notice that one will take a step and go just a little bit further than the guy next to him. A lot of it's based on heart, effort, and wanting to just give it all. But a lot of it's just strength, and one's just strong, and it's not even height. Like you think a long person with longer legs would automatically always be first. It's actually usually the shorter person. So they're spinning really quickly, but it's just strength. And again, I've said this before. I've run behind one friend of mine. Her name's Karen, and she's usually ahead of me. Okay, always ahead of me. And if we're running in wintertime, I'll watch her footstep. I'll watch her stride, and I'll try to match it. And then I'll watch in the snow where her footsteps land, and I can't match them because she's traveling a little bit further with every step. So it's all about strength. So building strength. So that's why you do the foundation, and that's why you do the Wednesday speed or hill training. It's all about building strength and speed. Hill training, I've talked about, this is not a hill talk, but hill training will help you work on your form. A lot of hills, your form will get better as well. And again, form is, again, I talked about the Phoebe run, is based on you, but there's some certain things. I was going to make this about biomechanics today, and that sort of flew out the window. It's going to be warmer next week. Maybe I'll do it. I'll be outside next week and try to show something. But basic form is feet fall beneath your center of gravity. And we won't talk about stride, but that's something I just argued with somebody on Instagram about. Um, Somebody said, "You want to go faster? You take a longer stride." No, you don't do that. Longer stride means you land on your heel and you're not running any faster. If you watch the pros or the elites, whether it's sprinters, whether they're doing the 4x400 meter relay, whether they're running marathons, their feet always land beneath their center of gravity. It looks like they're taking a bigger stride because what they're doing is, if you've done your ABCs, you know this one, right? It's you're not going to see this, but they do this thing where they drive their, yeah. I call it rolling a keg of beer under a table. It's not called that, but anyhow, it's called this. It's called a skip, right? And what you're doing is you're kicking forward, dragging your feet beneath your butt, center of gravity, kicking between your body. So when people see people running faster, they'll see that kick and think they're taking a bigger stride. They're not. They're just kicking, driving, kicking, driving. So the trick is that's why we do the drills, the ABC drills. Maybe I'll do that one day outside. Who knows? We may get 16 feet of snow, but that's what you're looking at when you see people race. And everybody says, "Oh, they're taking big stride." They're not. They're taking a kick, drag. And yes, no, it's not a circle like some people say. It's. I sometimes I do feel that when I'm running. I think, okay, let's do like a bicycle spin, right? On bike pedals. It's not exactly that, but it's close to it. And the trick with what I think when I do the bike spin is my feet touch the ground for a little bit of time. So you don't want your foot staying on the ground. You want touch and lift, touch and lift. When I do a bike, I sort of think that. And too bad on running, you can't just do free will and just cruise. But when you think about that, touch and lift, make sure your feet don't spend a lot of time on the ground. There's one person I run with here in St. Albert, and we're trying to get her to do that because when she runs, you can actually hear her feet hit the ground. Sometimes you will. Sometimes you will. I know a friend who slaps his feet, but really you shouldn't. It should be touch and lift, and you shouldn't hear that. You shouldn't feel that clunk, 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 clunk. It should be boom, boom, boom. And it's not necessarily fast. It's just going faster is just being more efficient. And maybe I'll see if I can get a group to this for this sometimes one of these following Mondays. Anyhow, so tempo runs, get that foundation, and also stay consistent. I'm going to say that's a big thing for me right now is just because I had to change my Sundays to Mondays. My whole training plan has changed a bit. I'm still doing at least 3 days a week running, but I'm also biking and swimming and doing weights. Because I'm older, I need more rest days, and I'm really finding that out really quickly. Is I do a bit of a run on Friday, and I noticed on Saturday, oh my God! So I hopped on the bike, was fine. So should have run yesterday, but I was busy mapping out that route. So tonight will be my longer run. I'm gonna run in the dark. Anyhow, so that's my talk for today. I'm gonna try to keep these short. I'm not sure how long I went here, but next week I'll try for Monday night again. If not, I'm just gonna keep recording these. I'll try to do a podcast, maybe. I'll see how that works. I don't like podcasts because you don't see people, right? But if you're ever gonna research podcasts, Rich Roll on YouTube because he does podcast and YouTube. But Rich Roll is probably my favorite person in the world. His talks are great. Not specifically running or athletics, but I've learned so much about no more sugar, no more milk, no more eggs, no more animal protein. Anyhow, Elizabeth, I see you're on here. I'll have the recording posted as well. And we'll talk next week. I'll do this again Monday. I'll try to pick a time at 6 o'clock if I can. It all depends on the wife and the kids, and I'll never say the wife again because I'll get hit if she hears me saying that. And if things work out next week. Anyhow, let's get outside because it looks really nice. There. Okay, that's done. Hey, Dad, something else is done.